Hello, welcome to this video series on MDX for SQL developers. I'm Nasir Ali Mirza at DoSQLBI.com. This is the next video in MDX for SQL developers. In this session, we will cover the joins. The next one will see what happens when a query uses unrelated items. Let us switch to Visual Studio and see AdventureWorks database again. Now in this one, when we say unrelated, the major group reseller sales is not related with the customer dimension. And it's understandably so, because here it is happening, the customers are purchasing from the resellers. So we would not have our customers directly related with the resellers. Now there is no relationship between these two. But in my query, let's see if I use this relationship, what will happen. I have a SQL query here where we are, because customer and reseller sales have nothing common, they are not related. So I'm not defining any join. I'm just simply saying, give me data from dim customer fact reseller sales. I can even mention where something is equal to something, but that is definitely going to give me a wrong data. But still, let's go ahead and execute this. As I'm using the aggregation function sum on order quantity for the English occupation from the customer table, so I have to put that in the group by. Let us run this query. What I see is a list of occupations, professional, clerical, and so on, and I see some numbers which don't make any sense. They are wrong because there is no relationship at the data level between these two tables. Now let's see an MDX equivalent of that. So what I'm again doing here is on XS1, I'm saying from customer dimension, I want occupation as an attribute. I say here the reseller order quantity, which comes from reseller sales. When I run this query, I do see the list of what are those various occupations, but look at the data. It's just repeating the same data, because when it goes to the analysis services database, it's not able to figure out any relationships there. So it's not able to break up that data across various occupations. Now let's come back to the Visual Studio. Let us see, this customer is not related to reseller sales, but it is, let us say, related to internet orders and some other, let's say it's related to internet sales. So my customer is not related to some reseller sales here, but it is related to internet sales. Let me do one thing. I will change this major that I had used to something from internet sales. Let us say internet sales has internet order quantity. Let me bring this one. Okay. And I comment out a reseller order quantity. I run the same query again. All that I did is I changed this major to internet order quantity. Now I'm running this query. Now you see, it went to the analysis service database, it picked up the relationship from there, and query was able to give me the data which shows the breakup as well. It shows me now occupation wise for each occupation how many are the internet order quantity, because the relationship does exist. So otherwise I didn't change anything here. All that I did is I changed it to the major that I want, and rest it's analysis services that takes care of picking up the right relationship. But if we do mention things where relationships don't exist, we will get a bad data back. One last example in this implicit relationships is I'm using title from the employee table, and I'm joining that with the fact reseller, and there is a relationship that exists there on the employee key. Let me run this query. What I see is I see the titles and I see the order quantity. Now let's see its equivalent MDX query. Again, I'm doing it simply employee.title.children on XS1, and then on XS0 I have reseller order quantity. Now let's run this query as well. I have added non-empty so that I don't want to see null results. So I see this European sales manager as 2009, in the SQL query European sales manager as 2009. But just remember, the SQL queries are run against AdventureWorks DW 2012 SQL database, and these the MDX queries are run against the analysis services database of that. Let's continue with the remaining items in this video. So what we saw is we saw a query using unrelated joins, and what happens. So we saw what is the effect when query uses unrelated items, and the data produced is the bad data. So this is kind of just to show that reseller sales is not related to the customer and it is related to the product. Now the last item in this one is the cross joins. Let's see an example about it. Let me switch to SQL Management Studio. I have a SQL query here that uses territory country and product name from sales territory, cross joining with the product, and then I'm using the order by as well. Let's run this query. So I see country names, a combination for each product. Now I come here, I have a similar MDX query. I'm not seeing anything on XS0, it's empty. XS can be empty. And then I'm using cross join. In the cross join, you see this is first set where I'm saying I want to see the children of territory country from sales territory dimension. This is the syntax of the cross join. I say comma after the first set, and I use then another set which is product dimension and the children of the product attribute. Okay, let's run this query. So we see the country and a row for each product. There is an alternate way to the cross join. How we can use that? I can remove this cross join function, remove the comma that was part of that syntax, and I can add this star here. There's an alternate way of defining the cross join. Let's run this query. So we get the same result. In fact, when I want to do multiple cross joins, I can do nested cross joins, or I can use this nested star notation to do the further cross joins. Let's switch back to our slide deck, and this covers our cross join in MDX. This was a very brief, but it covers the core part of the joins when it comes to MDX queries. I'm Nasir Ali Mirza at DoSQLBI.com.